So I think my first video was my manga collection video. It was not great. It was my first video. I was just kind of throwing it up here. So I thought I've been doing a lot of manga hauls and buying a lot of manga. So let's do an updated manga collection video. Okay, so here's the first shelf that everybody sees in all the videos. I thought this would be a perfect place to start. It is pretty much where I keep my favorite series or series that I've collected a lot of. So let's start at the bottom. First, we have Mobile Suit Gundam, The Origins. I have volumes 1 through 5. And I mean, it's Mobile Suit Gundam. I grew up with these types of shows, and I wish they would do more mecha. You guys let me know if there's like a good mecha manga going on right now, because I could use some mecha in my life. Plus, you know me, sucker for hardcovers. And then we move on to Berserk, which you guys know. I think this is one of the nicest bindings of a manga for one of the greatest mangas of all time. And I know it's probably been said to death, but I feel like everyone should check out Berserk. At least see if they're into it, because it does tell a story that is one of the best stories in manga, in my opinion. But caveat, these are not cheap volumes to buy. Then we move on to Blade of the Immortal. I have not started reading Blade of the Immortal yet. I really want to. I'm actually in the mood for a good samurai manga, and now that I have 5 omnibuses, I think I have enough to read. With stuff that's kind of hard to come by, you always run to that issue of like, I hope volume 6 is in stock by the time I get there, because I'm impatient. But I'm deciding between starting this or starting Vagabond. I've heard nothing but great things about Vagabond. It's one of the... Have you ever been told about a manga where you're kind of a little bit nervous to read it because you're like, what if I don't like it? Like, what if there's something wrong with me? Everybody seems to love it, and I'm not gonna like it. So I'll let you guys decide. Which one do you think? Blade of the Immortal or Vagabond? And I'll start reading one or the other. But I do love it when spines make big pictures. That's kind of like hardcovers. I love hardcovers. Also love spines that make a photograph. I think that's so neat. Now let's move up to the second shelf. Okay, so the second shelf is nothing but JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Part 4, Part 3, the best part. That's right, I said it. I mean, come on, the stands get introduced. This is the best. This is the best part that I've read so far out of the 5. Part 2, and then Part 1. Listen, I think that these collected editions of JoJo's are super nice. I wish we were not as far behind, because Japan has, I think, Part 8, and we're at Part 5, Volume 3 at this point. But with JoJo's, if I try to get somebody into JoJo's, I just say get past Phantom Blood. You gotta, Jonathan, listen. You know, Jonathan, here. You're just boring. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. But then you get to Joseph, fantastic. Jotaro, amazing. And Josuke is fine. But yeah, I'm sure at this point you guys have heard about JoJo's. I think it's something. I don't know. I could do a whole video on JoJo's. I'm not gonna go into it. But as far as the collection, these are, I think, $20 a piece. But you can usually get them on sale. I don't know. It's kind of like how I feel about Berserk. You should at least give it a shot. I really do believe JoJo is something special. Now let's move on to the shelf that's been getting the most love lately on my channel. That's right. Look at all the One Piece. With Luffy guarding it on both sides. I mean, if you have seen any of my One Piece reviews, I highly recommend them. I'm slowly working my way through the series. I am right now, as the recording of this video, about to start the Thriller Bark arc. But this is not this is not what my thoughts are well known on One Piece. But as collecting One Piece, I will say this. One, I try not to look at the covers because I did hear they spoil things. But two, it stands out in a collection. One, because there's so many volumes. But two, it's one of the only mangas that I collect currently that is so, the spines are so colorful. Like, it just stands out with all the different color palettes that this series does. I mean, every spine, even if it's a similar color, there's shades of differences that make it stand out on a shelf. And that figure definitely helps. But yeah, right now I have all 3 box sets, and I have the 4th one pre-ordered, which is volume 71 through 90. And then I also have volume 91 for when I'm caught up to that. Volumes 92 through 95, though, still out of stock places. But yeah, I just think, when I was thinking about getting into One Piece, I was thinking about doing the omnibuses, but these single spines, it just stands out in a collection. And I highly recommend people check One Piece out. I know it's hyped up to forever and infinity, but like what's below it, there's a reason. And I think this is a manga, I mean, it's already done, but it will go down in history. Whether you're a fan or not a fan, I at least recommend that you check it out. And then my top shelf is dedicated to one of my favorite mangas to ever write anything, and that's Urasawa. Starting from 20th Century Boys, this is one of those mangas that I wish I could forget that I read so I could reread it. The twists and turns and the story that he tells it will stay with me in my brain forever. Like I said, this is why they're on this shelf. Like I said with a lot of them, I think this is one of my favorite, if not number 1, top 3 favorite mangas I've ever read, for sure. It's just completely different than anything I've read at the time. I was reading a lot of shonen, and then I decided to pick this up on a whim, and it made me a fan of this writer for life. And then next to it is AsaDora, and this is kind of like a Studio Ghibli film, and I think the twist is coming, but it's a super fun read, and especially if you've read his other works like 20th Century Boys and Monster, which we're about to get to, you're waiting for the twist to come because you know that this story is not what it seems at the very beginning. I highly recommend this as well. 20th Century Boys first, but if you've read that, check out his work, AsaDora. I think it's got 4 volumes, because I think I'm current with it, at least in the collected volumes. So yeah, this is one that I don't hear a lot of people talk about, but I think should be talked about more when you're talking about Urasawa. And then next to that is Monster. I am only on volume 2 of Monster right now, and I've heard that this is like his masterwork, so again, with me being such a fan of his, I just need more manga reading time, and I really want to dive right into it. So I don't know too much about it. I'm on the second volume, but I've heard nothing but great things, and I do have the complete series, so only a matter of time before I read this whole series. And then right up top, I just have one volume of Pluto, which seems to be a retelling of Astro Boy, which could be real neat. I haven't checked it out yet, but it's one of those, had Urasawa, and I was like, oh, I'll check it out, and they had a volume 1 in stock. And I'm pretty sure the other volumes are a little harder to find, but I will slowly collect anything, because I'm such a big fan. And I don't know too much about Astro Boy, but I'm really interested to see his take on it. So now that we've gone over the shelf that everyone sees in all the videos, let's do the shelves hardly anyone ever sees. Okay, so at the top we have the 3 box sets of Naruto. I think I'm on like volume 60, so I'm very close to the end. I think these are fantastic box sets. I wish more would do the stand-up box sets. I don't know why box set 2 they decided to go horizontal with it, but the vertical box sets are real nice. And it's one of those series that I think stands the test of time. And to the right of that, we have the 3 box sets of Bleach. I've read this entire series. I have my own issues with the ending, but I haven't read the one-shot yet, but I do hear that it probably leads into a new series, and I'm all for him being able to complete the story he wanted to tell or expand on the world that he built. And it does get a bad rap, and even I've joked about it, but Bleach is still, it was a big shonen title for a reason, and I think it holds up today. Not as well, but it's definitely worth a read if you're a shonen fan. So then we move on to the duo of Bakuman and Death Note and Platinum End shelf. And I have read all of Bakuman, and I don't think it should be your first manga, but if you start getting into manga a lot, I think this is one of the best series that has been written, because it's about a manga artist, and they draw and write, this is going to be a weird sentence, they draw and write manga like a shonen. And it has a great story and great characters, and I highly recommend it when you get into manga. Then we have Platinum End, which I'm still missing volumes 2 and 3, but I have 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And I think the last volume, volume 14, comes out beginning of next year. And it just started an anime. I haven't checked out the anime yet, and I haven't checked out the manga. Because at this point, I'm just waiting to at least have volumes 2 and 3 so I can have a lot to read. But I love this duo, and I hope that this stands up to their other 2 works that I absolutely love. And then All You Need Is Kill. I'm pretty sure this is the inspiration for that Tom Cruise movie. It's a great little one-shot manga. It has a great story, and again, I don't think it's both the duo, but it's the artist of Death Note and Bakuman. So it's a one-shot. You ain't got to worry about 20, 30, 100 volumes. And if you need a good action manga with a good story and a good little message it tries to do with some sci-fi elements, I highly recommend it. And then we have Death Note. What is there to say about Death Note that has not been said? I think these black editions, they're my preferred way of collecting manga. This is actually the first manga that I ever bought. And I actually didn't know what manga was. It might have been in the comic book section when I picked it up. And I started reading it and fell in love with it. It's one of the best stories in manga. And like I said, I really enjoy the black editions because I think it looks real good on a shelf. Especially with their other 2 works being so colorful. that the black really stands out. But yeah, I mean, Death Note is one of the most popular mangas ever. It's not much to say about it. You should check it out. And then right next to it, because I just got these and I don't know where to put them, is Goodnight PunPun. I am currently halfway through the first volume, and this is... Whew! This manga goes places that I was not expecting it to go, even in the first volume. I think I will probably do a video on Goodnight PunPun, because this is... Yeah, I just gotta do a video about it. I can't say I highly recommend it because I've only read one volume, but I really am liking it right now. It's my preferred read when I sit down or lay down to read a manga. This is the one I go to right now. But be warned, it is not a fun manga. So yeah, let's go to the next shelf. Alright, so first we have Blood on the Tracks. I am not up to current with this manga, but I will say it's just one of those that if you want to try something different, kind of like Goodnight PunPun, I suggest giving this a try. I think it's trying to tell a story that I have not personally read in a manga before. And I think it's pulling it off pretty well. But yeah, we got volumes 1, 2, and 3. And then we have Blue Flag, volumes 1, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 2, 3, and 4 have not been in stock for a while, so I have not started reading this yet. I have heard really good things about it, and I really, really love these covers of Blue Flag. I think every single cover of Blue Flag is amazing. So that gives me a lot of hope. Hopefully this series is something really, really special. So if volumes 2, 3, and 4 could come back in stock pretty soon, that would be awesome. Right next to that is Blue Period, which I think just got an anime. I am so surprised they wanted to turn this into an anime. Because if you don't know, Blue Period is really about this guy loves art. And I think it's a cool story. It's just a story I'm surprised actually got an anime adaptation. But yeah, I've only read 2 volumes of it. I do have up to volume 4. The covers are real good. But like I said, it's not the manga I was expecting when I started reading it, but not in a bad way. Next to that we have Go With the Clouds North by Northwest. There's only 5 volumes of this manga, and actually 3 of the volumes are downstairs because I'm reading them as we speak. No one talks about this manga, and these covers and the texture of these volumes is incredible. And I believe the writer only writes like 1 volume a year. But this is kind of like a slice of life story is the best genre to put it in. I really like the characters, and I really like the world that he builds and the way that he writes it and the story he's trying to tell. And I just don't hear enough people talk about this manga. But Go With the Clouds North by Northwest, I highly recommend at least checking out the first volume. Next to that is I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. This was one of the first reviews I did. I was not expecting what this manga was here to give me. And it was one of the first mangas that I branched out of Shonen and really enjoyed. But yeah, if you want to hear my thoughts, go check out the review. I have not started reading this. I got this on a whim. Kino Journey, The Beautiful Worlds. I got volume 1. and Volume 2. So I actually know nothing about it. It was just a Right Stuff sale. And I needed something for free shipping, so let me know in the comments if you've read it and if you dug it. And if I should jump on it and really start reading it right now. Next to that, we have Way of the HouseHusbands 1 through 6. I love this manga. I think it's one of the funniest mangas that is out right now. I liked the anime on Netflix. I know people have their opinions about it, but I thought it wasn't that bad. It's kind of a strong word to call it an anime, but I actually think they use that art style for some of the jokes pretty well. But yeah, even if you didn't like the anime, I highly suggest picking up this manga and checking it out. It's one of the funniest stories that I'm reading right now, and I love it. I love this manga. Next one, Witchand the Beast. I have Volume 1 downstairs, so I want to start reading it. But got this on a Right Stuff sale as well. I love these covers. And Rex, the buddy of mine, sings its praises. So he's never let me down so far. Hopefully he has not let me down with this. But yeah, I know nothing about this series really. And I can't wait to start reading it. If I just had more manga reading time, I would read a lot of this. So yeah, that's the second shelf. Let's go down to the third shelf. And the third shelf consists of the 2 Tokyo Ghoul box sets. I know this is not a good use of shelf space, but I was planning on starting reading this in October, but something came up and I still have not started reading Tokyo Ghoul. I really want to start reading Tokyo Ghoul. But yeah, I did an unboxing of this box set if you want to check it out. And then, I've heard nothing but great things about Tokyo Ghoul. I really need to read it, but as you can tell throughout this video, I have so much good manga, not enough time to read this manga. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know there's probably Tokyo Ghoul fans be like, dude, what are you doing? It's great. It's right in front of you. Read it. I promise. I promise you I'll start. I promise. So yeah, I told you this shelf's quick. Let's go down to the next one. So on this shelf we have Drifting Dragons. I started collecting this manga because I really loved the covers of them. I think they got kind of a water color style. This manga, talking about North by Northwest being something I wasn't expecting. I was not expecting this to be basically a food manga. They just want to kill dragons and eat them and cook them in different ways. But yeah, coming from reading nothing but shonen fans and then being like, oh, this must be a shonen, it looks like one, and then being like, no, this is like a cooking manga. But yeah, I think these covers are fantastic, and I think the story is definitely different than anything that I've read. Next to that is another series that I don't hear a lot of people talk about, which is Astra Lost in Space. I'm pretty sure this got an anime adaptation a long time ago. It's basically a space adventure manga. It's actually really good, and I don't hear enough people talk about it. I don't know if it's just because it's older, but if you like Firefly or Lost in Space or Alien, I think you could probably find them relatively cheap too, because I don't think they're out of print yet or super popular. I suggest giving a Volume 1 read of Astra Lost in Space, because not enough people talk about it, and I really enjoy this manga. And then we move on to a manga I talk a lot about. Wotakoi, Love is Hard for an Otaku. Listen to it. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I'm Mr. Punch people in face. I really like this slice of life character manga, and the jokes hit for me. I know some people might think that they're kind of cheesy and playing to a crowd. This is like The Office, but with otaku references. And I love all the characters. I love the story they're trying to tell. There's only 5 volumes out right now. I just finished the 5th one. It's one of those, when I get the volume in, I read it immediately. And if you don't think this is for you, or you haven't read manga like this before, I think this is an easy pinky toe into that pool of like slice and life, kind of romance, comedy manga, and I highly recommend checking out at least the first volume, because if you're like me, you devour this volume and then you go get the other 5. I love this series. It's easily in my top 5 series that I've currently read. And then next to that, we have volumes 1 through 9 of Pokemon Adventures, the collector's editions. This is the definition for me of nostalgia. Also, a Detective Pikachu Pokemon card. I forgot how I got this, but I got this. But this is a nostalgia read for me. It takes me back to watching the anime and playing the video games. I think it's fantastic. And it's actually a little bit of a darker story than the anime. And I think it's a pretty good story. But this is my comfort read. Is like, if I have read all the manga that I really want to read and just kind of want to read something and put it down, pick it back up later, this is what I go to. And the covers look real nice. I really like the covers. So let's go down to the last shelf of this shelf. Okay, so for my last shelf, it's One Piece box set number 3, empty, because you know where the volumes are. I need to figure out what to do with these box sets. Tell me what you guys do with the box sets you get if you take the manga out of it. Because I really think there's something cool I could do with this artwork. I just haven't been able to figure it out yet. But this is kind of like the shelf that it doesn't fit in kind of a theme. Even though it doesn't look like it, there is a theme to a lot of my shelves. But yeah, it's Scott Pilgrim, which is not a manga, but it's a really good series. Saint Young Men. It's like Wotakoi, but with Buddha and Jesus. It's a strange read. Kind of funny though, but it's definitely different. If I don't know if I can recommend it, but it is. The volumes are real nice bound. But yeah, I enjoy it, but it's one of those I just don't recommend to people, because I don't really like. You have to have, I think, a certain taste to enjoy this manga. And then volume 1 of Drifting Classrooms. I had heard a lot about this series. I couldn't make it through this first volume. I know there's like 3 volumes. I don't know. It didn't grab me. It was one of those that it missed for me. Not that I think it's bad. I just think wasn't my cup of tea. But yeah, we have volume 1 of Vigilante. I've never read it. I don't know anything about it. I actually forgot how I got this volume, but it's just one of those volumes that ended up in the collection. That I have no plans to collect Vigilantes, but let me know if it's good, and I might start. And then this, I have this from when I was a child, a young whippersnapper. Volume 6 of Rave Master. I used to have more. But I don't know where they're at. I remember this series. I wish they would do an omnibus of Rave Master. I would check that out again. But yeah, volume 6 of Rave Master. It's a good series. And we have, what is this? Gravitation? I had to do a $1 blind box on Right Stuff, and this is what they gave me. I know nothing about this series, but it's volumes 9 and 10. I don't know. Know nothing about it. I needed that free shipping, and I needed $1, so did a blind box. This is what I got. One Punch Man, Volume 1. I know. Listen. I know this is a good series. I've never read it. I think I got this as a gift a long time ago, and I've just never read it. And I bet there's people right now being like, "What you?" I've never read One Punch Man. I was gonna ask the question, is it good? But I feel like that's a dumb question. I know people love this. I should get on this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. I'll do better, I promise. And then I thought this was the manga. It has words. It is not the manga. It is the light novel. It is the light novel of Rising of the Shield Hero. And I have not read it. But I have watched the anime of Rising of the Shield Hero and really enjoy it. Tell me if the manga is any good, and I might actually start collecting the manga this time instead of the light novel. And then the Walking Dead Compendiums, Volumes 1 and 2. Again, not a manga, but it's just part of this bottom shelf that Luffy and the gang are here to protect. Thanks, Luffy. Hey, you keep them protected, Luffy. You're doing a great job. On the top shelf, we have the Dragonballz shrine, basically. We have, well, first off, we have Goku and Vegeta of the Saiyan Saga being bookends. And they're bookending Dragonballz Super 1 through 14. I have not caught up to the manga. I've watched all the anime. And it's just one of those that is low on my list, but I know when I start reading it, I'll catch all the way up. And then we have the Vegeta, Super Saiyan God. GT, because listen, GT happened. We can't close our eyes to it. DVDs, Dragon Ball DVDs, Dragon Ball Z Blu-rays, the complete Dragon Ball box set, and then behind everything is the Dragon Ball Z box set. I've read both of these. I love Dragon Ball. And then the cool thing that I think everyone should read, if you're a fan, Vegeta, please. Vegeta, please. I know you don't like him, but people need to know. The manga, The Time I Got Reincarnated Yamcha. Everyone, if you're a fan of this, should read this manga. It is fantastic. It is so good. As a joke manga, it's so good. Highly recommend. And I also highly recommend this book. And I also highly recommend, again, Vegeta, please. The Visual History of Dragon Ball. It's like this hardcover art book. It's just really cool to see the art showcased of Dragon Ball if you're a fan. And it comes in this nice little slipcover. Just looks real good on a shelf. If you can find it for a good price, I highly recommend checking out the Visual History. Vegeta, please! Vegeta, look what you did. Hold on, I'll be right back. I gotta talk to him. Okay, now he's behaving himself. Thank you, Vegeta. Go, hey, man, keep an eye on him. Alright, now that we have that situated, let's go down to the shelf below it. Below this, I call this my shonen shelf, even though there's manga on it. But it's solo leveling. If you have not heard me sing the praises of solo leveling, it's fantastic. It should get an anime adaptation. It's perfect for it. And if you want to try to branch out into like manga, it's colored pages, but solo leveling is so good. Read solo leveling. Then we have ChainsawMan's volumes 1 through 7. I think I've done a review on 5, 6, and 7. There's a reason this is one of the most popular shonen mangas right now. It's so good. I really enjoy it. And then right next to it, we have Jujutsu Kaisen, volumes 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, 10, and 11. I have watched all of the anime, but I have not caught up to the manga yet. It's one of those that I'm waiting to have all the current volumes so that I can just sit down and binge read it in like one day. But yeah, I love the anime. I think it's one of the best animes that have come out recently, and I cannot wait to start reading it. Then next to that, we have Orient 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is one of those mangas that I don't hear enough people talk about it, and I really dig it. I think it's a very good manga, and it's just one of those that I recommend to people if they're... I think it's a good, like, first manga, too. Like, if people are trying to get into manga, I kind of recommend them Orient. And I wish more people would talk about it. Next to that, we have the omnibuses 1 through 4 of Shaman King. I grew up with this series, and I know the singles cost an arm and a leg to buy, so I think the cheapest and easiest way to collect these right now is in these omnibuses. And it makes a giant picture, and again, like Vagabond, I love when spines make a giant picture. But yeah, have not checked out the anime yet, but I really enjoy this manga, and I still think it holds up even today. And then a series that I'm slowly collecting for nostalgia reasons, and I've only ever watched the anime, and I really want to read the manga now that I have gotten into reading a lot of manga, is Yu Hakusho. But boy, are these volumes hard to find. This is one of those... This is one of those series that, man, if they would release hardcover editions, I would buy those. If they wanted to do that, that would be real cool. But until they do, I'm going to slowly collect the singles. So hopefully they have a restock very, very soon. But yeah, I grew up watching the anime, and now I really want to read the manga, if I could find the singles. Speaking of that, we have some Shonen Jumps from the 2003. Somehow the only Shonen Jumps that I ended up keeping has Yu-Gi-Oh on the cover. That's another one that I should start reading Yu-Gi-Oh! The manga. I heard the manga is actually really good. But yeah, man, look at how like yellow these pages are. Because as a kid, and I wasn't really into collecting, but hold on, let's go to the floor. But yeah, as a kid, you know, you're not really into collecting, so you don't think about these kind of things. A little Dragonballz Z. Oh, still got the envelope. Hey, can I mail these in to give a gift? Don't miss an issue. I should mail these in. They're probably still good. Yeah, they're probably fine. But yeah, the pages are super yellow. But yeah, I just keep them because I found them in a storage. This is before what I really knew what manga was, and my cousins were way into them. But yeah, Shonen Jumps from 2003. Very cool. Let's go to the next shelf. Now we are on the second to last shelf, and I just haven't found a good spot for these, but the FullMetal Alchemist, volume 8, or 1 through 8. These have great covers, and I do really want to display them. I just haven't figured out what to move from the main shelf over here to replace these. But yeah, I have read volumes 1 and 2, so I'm on volume 3. This is considered one of the best mangas of all time, so I really should jump on this. But very nice covers. And then below that is Fist of the NorthStar. Volumes 1 and Volume 2. This is the grandfather of Shonen, and as a big Shonen fan, I have to know where all this came from. And I think Fist of the NorthStar still holds up. It's very good. And these hardcovers are very nice. Then we have Dead Man in Wonderland. I've actually only read the first volume of this, and I really enjoyed it, but it's just one of those things that, like, I think something else came up, and I never got to Volume 2. I just really like the way these covers look. Like, that looks nice on a shelf. The white, the black, the white, the black, with the chain going through it, I think. And, like, the numbers. It's a very aesthetically pleasing spine. But yeah, let me know what you think about this. I really want to get back to it, but I'm not, like, chomping at the bit to get back to it, you know? So, let me know if I should hop on it. And then right next to that, I do have Volume 1, it's downstairs because I started reading it, is Parasite. These covers are so weird and cool. Like, the colored choices plus the wild, weird look to them. I've started reading the first volume. It's such a strange read, but yeah, I can see why people dig this manga. And just as, like, collecting it, these covers stand out so much. I love the way the spines look. I love the covers. This is a super nice manga to collect, and it looks great on the shelf. And then the Junji Ito section, No Longer Human. Junji Ito, I could do a whole video on this guy. He's unlike any writer for manga there is. And I have Uzumaki. I really want to start collecting all his works. I've read both of these. I really like both of these. Like is such a weird word to use with this. I mean, because this one specifically is very dark. But I enjoy what he's trying to do and the stories he's trying to tell. And I really want to start collecting all of his works. Plus, they all come pretty much in super nice hardcovers. Which, again, as I've said multiple times, in this video alone, I love hardcovers. So yeah, that's the second to last shelf. Now let's go down to the last shelf. Once again, on this shelf, Luffy and the gang. Once again, I need to figure out what to do with these box sets. Let's see what they're guarding this time. So this is real account. I started out really liking this manga, and this manga went from like a death game manga to, by the time we got in here, it went to something very different. I don't know if I'm going to stick with it. It might not be my cup of tea, but I think the first 6 volumes are super good. I don't know what made them switch to a different type of manga. It's very ecchi, is what I'm saying. It used to be like a death game manga, but, you know, no, it's something different. I don't know if I'll stick with this. This is why it's at the bottom shelf. So, yeah. I think in some of my videos I recommended this manga. I don't recommend this manga anymore. Alright, let's move on. Another one I really want to start reading. I got 2 volumes of it. Kanji Gambling Apocalypse. I heard great things about this. This is like an older manga. I really need to start. I really need to read some of this and see if I like it. Like I said, I don't know anything about it at all. I just heard great things and I found these on sale. So let me know if you have read any of this and if it's a manga worth reading. And then the last bit is something I'm slowly collecting, just kind of like if I find them out and about. I found this one at Barnes & Noble, this one at Books A Million, and these 2 on Amazon for like $16 a piece. I think they're out of print now, but it's just kind of like my little side thing of like, I would really like to own all of these. But it's Dark Horse, and we know how Dark Horse is. So, I have not read these. These are just kind of like one I would really enjoy having in my collection. Lone Wolf and Cub. So yeah, I have not read any of these. It's just one of, something, a collection goal that I have, like we all do. Matter of fact, in the comments, what are some mangas that you collect that are like collection goals? Like, you probably know you won't complete it, but you really would like to. As always, Luffy and the gang, hold it down. So yeah, that is my updated manga collection as of November 2021. I hope you enjoyed looking through my collection, and now I have a video on the channel that is a little higher quality in my opinion. But yeah, hope you enjoyed my collection, and like I said, let me know some of your manga collecting goals and some series that you really like, and if you saw some series in my collection that I haven't been reading that you're like, hey man, you should jump on it, you should read it. But yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching my videos and commenting, and I just really enjoy doing these videos and talking to everybody. So yep, thank you, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.